That's the battle that parents, educators, professionals are dealing with. And Love and Logic is not a substitute for professional help when it comes to this. We want to make sure that's really clear.
It's not a substitute for really good therapy or other professional services. We certainly have a lot of professionals who appreciate our materials. And to that end, I'll do one more plug. We have a curriculum, relatively new Love and Logic curriculum for kids with challenging pasts, adults supporting kids with challenging pasts, that we wanted to teach. We wanted adults to be able to teach this to other adults with these types of skills to help the kids that we're talking about.
Right, and I talk about what I call the Triad of Hope. I thought there's so much information out there about the subject, and we can get pretty overwhelmed when we're a parent, even a professional. I've said professionals admit to me, I'm overwhelmed by what's going on.
It is, it's a lot.
Right, and I thought, well, if we could have three basic principles we thought about every day, and we tried to do at least maybe a bit of each one, we'd probably be pretty good shape as long as the kid was also getting the professional help they needed.
And they're currently getting their needs met.
Right.
And that's one other thing is when I'm responding to my needs not being met, and so kind of a baseline of before anything else can get better, I've got to have my needs getting met. So if I'm that kid and I'm still in an abusive or neglectful situation, I'm not ready for this stuff yet, but I still have to have my parka on.
Yeah. And so the first element of the Triad of Hope are relationships. It's just absolutely no way around that. This kid has got to realize that they're loved.
Yes.
And that
I'm here, I'm not giving up.
And I'm not going to hurt you. And see, the dynamic, which we see so often, is that, and the dynamic is basically when one person does something, the other person does something, and the other person does something, and then it makes it worse, okay, or better. And so the dynamic is, I love this kid, and so I have this idea, which is partially true, that if I love this kid, they're going to get better, okay? So I love the kid, and what do?
I reject it, and it comes right back flinging in your face.
But how do you do that?
By acting nasty and acting very unloving toward you.
You pee on my brand new furniture, and it's cloth. Okay, that's just one example of. I mean, it's not just like kind of like minor irritating behavior,
something of yours.
Destroy something, and it's serious, and so.
And it's almost as if I'm saying, "Oh yeah, you love me." Boom. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Now, if I don't know that this dynamic is something that's kind of normal given the healing process with these kids, it's very likely that I'm going to do what?
You're going to react poorly and feel rejected, and your defenses are going to go up, and so you're going to want to be a jerk back.
Or distance myself.
Pull
or
away,
give
or
up
be
on you,
or give up,
or whatever. See, I take it personal. Oh, isn't that a big part of trauma-informed care? Is don't take it personal.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a powerful idea.
It's a powerful concept. It's like, this is not about me. It is, but it really isn't.
That's one of those things I have to say to myself over and over again when that bad behavior is being flung back in my direction, when I'm trying to give love to someone who's been through trauma and it's coming back at me not very nice. I have to remind myself, this is not about me. It's not about me.
Right. And that's why it's so important. I wish that more adoption agencies, I wish that more organizations in general prepared people who are taking kids on with this awareness that when you reach the kid, you start to reach the kid, they might get worse. And number one, don't buy really nice furniture, but also be prepared to say to yourself over and over again, this is not about me. Okay, that's one of the things we say to ourselves. These are self-boundaries. It's not about me. Okay, and it's and I'm not the hero. Now, if somebody asked me, do you think that foster parents are heroes? I'd say yeah. Do you think your parents who adopt kids are heroes? I say, yeah. Yeah. You think the teachers who really love kids are really, yeah, they're heroes. But if I see myself as the hero,
That's not good because it's not about me.
Yeah, it's not about me, right? And when I start getting this idea that, I'm going to do something and then the kid is going to get better and then I'm really going to look good and I'm going to feel good.
What skills by me?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be so great. The kid's going to sniff that out and make sure you never feel that way, right? And so it's really such a selfless thing, isn't it?
It's an unselfish kind of a love. And
Oh, my goodness.
When we don't get it back, we might feel defensive or fearful, but we just have to keep responding with love because that love will beat the fear.
Yeah, and so the first part of the Triad of Hope is the love, but a corollary, something that's connected with it, with that first part, are the boundaries, the limits. And so it's not like I'm just going to let them destroy my furniture and be okay with that. It's an old cliche, but I think it does ring true that we really do love them right where they are. We have to love them right where they are, but we love them too much to just leave them there.
That's absolutely true. And I'll have people, sometimes I get defensive because I'll have people say, well, I work with rad kids and Love and Logic doesn't work with rad kids. And I think to myself, wait a minute, the essence of this is loving you while still holding you accountable, loving you while still setting limits.
Right.
That is exactly what those kids need. It's exactly what they need.
It's what we all need, yeah.
I'll say, it works with mine better than anything else because that's exactly what they need. What you just said, if I have no limits, if someone just says, oh, this is a kid, this is one of those little trauma kids, so they get away with anything they want. If I'm that kid, that feels really scary because I need you to set limits.
And what a demeaning thing. It's like, to pick some aspect of a person and then just make the assumption that based on that aspect, there's no hope for you.
Render them incapable.
Yeah.
I used to get mad at my kids if they said, I can't do that, I'm ADHD. I would say, no, you're not. You're, I use their name. I'm not going to say because you've been through this or you have this trait or whatever, that just renders you, hopeless or incapable. What a terrible way to view it.
And so the one way we show them that they're worth saving, they're capable, is we do have those boundaries.
Set some limits.
And we expect that they do some things. It's going to be a process, not going to be easy, but we expect that they do some things to provide restitution or to solve the problems they've created. And
those are always the best consequences for these kids when they have to figure out a way to solve the problem they caused.
Oh man, you peed on the couch. Well, what are you going to do? Well, I don't care. I didn't like that couch to start with.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. And here are some options. And
it's a lot of delayed consequences that include restitution.
Yeah, a lot of delayed consequences that involve restitution. And sometimes I think it's really okay for the adult to be a participant in that restitution to a small degree where they're working together.
We're fixing something together.
Yeah, we're working together as long as the adult is not doing much.
Yeah, because we're reinforcing that first one again of the relationship as we're working together.
I love you, and I help with this as long as you're doing 90% of the work.
Yeah, as long as you don't take a break and disappear.
I shouldn't be the one who has to be doing all this work over something that the problem that you created. And
so we've got loving relationships and we've got limits.
And then
I'm guessing because it's try that there's a third one there.
Yeah, it's just a natural extension, and that is success experiences. See, we have some hope when we can look at our own behavior and say, hey, that worked.
I did that.
I did that. I was successful. There's hope for me. And so many of the success experiences that these kids have started out as what appear to be failures. They messed something up, they broke something, they destroyed something, they were nasty to somebody or whatever. Now they've made restitution and look back and they see people who are, and this is the hard part, is just genuinely forgiving. Genuinely forgiving.
We're restored in the relationship.
Thank you. We are good.
That wall looks as good or better than it did before.
Yeah. And so when we can have that, it really does it does give them feelings of hope.
Now, do they have to be gigantic successes, or can they just be even little things?
Oh, I think life is more about little success.
Well, at least mine is.
I know.
I don't know what those big successes
I know.
are.
I've had a few of these. I've had a couple home runs in life, but a lot of it is just the little stuff. And
A lot of bunt singles.
yeah, a lot of bunt singles, or even sometimes I just get walked because I got hit.
Yeah,
You know.
still got to take your base.
Yeah, I still get the base, right? I still get to play the game, and that's really what we're talking about here.
So loving relationships, which that encompasses everything. That's not just good for kids with trauma. That's good for all kids.
Yeah, these are good.
Limits.
Yeah,
That's good for all kids. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard you use these same three things for kids who are struggling
Sure.
academically. And then that third thing, success experiences, which we might, as Charles mentioned, we might have to start with something that looks like a mistake or a failure. And in that restoration where we're fixing it or somehow making it right, we just, as human beings, we do that. We look back and go, yeah, I may have caused that problem, but look, I fixed it. And we feel good about
Oh
ourselves.
yeah, that's the beauty. What a mindset to have, that